All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is Dan. Thank you for once again joining me for The Longest Journey. If you're following me in real time, I apologize for the what do YouTubers call it? The hiatus or the break. Um, I have a full time job. I've got life going on and stuff, and I I try to fit in some gaming whenever I can, and unfortunately, that hasn't been a possibility for me for a while. But today, I am once again able to find some time. So if you are not following me in real time and you're just watching this well after the fact, there's nothing to see here. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ironically, that is actually what the problem actually was that there wasn't really much of anything here to watch. And yeah, but here we go. So we jump through this portal that Cortez had shown, revealed, created for us, and we're in this other place after falling through this portal. I wonder why this one is not finished, this mural, because this mural here looks finished, but this one over here doesn't. I wonder if these are like destiny marks and this is yet to actually have shown through, perhaps. Priest. So what we're looking for is we're looking for Brian Westinghouse. Let's view
He
this
looks
guy.
like some kind of priest.
Yeah, I kind of got that, April. All right,
Hello?
what's he got to say? Come on, talk.
Hi.
Is he mute? Oh, he is. He
Et
doesn't.
tu? Emile, tu vas?
Okay, never mind. Let's shake our head because obviously we don't understand what he's saying. And we've already said hello and he hasn't reciprocated in our language, so.
Ne? Tu van sav ken? Tu vu ken alar? Et tu istak mile? Ithira? Ton maris ton.
Still don't know.
Who are you?
Ken esang maris ortona. Magic ean pose ton. Sare alvoca im iriam tue ithium.
Yeah, that's great. I know absolutely. Yeah, totally cool. Yeah, uh-huh.
Aku kandi. Good.
Oh, you got that word.
Niranton alvoch. Sank al coda magic.
Oh, that's another one.
Torante, salhe, naven, all tongue.
Huh. All tongue. What is this all
What
tongue?
does Altung mean?
Maris, tu verinelian aran tu torank lock eton.
Okay, well. Yeah, I'm just gonna nod and
Aku tu fata, sequandare, ken estare, ton.
tone. Yes. Let's try listen again.
Aku kandi. Good. Niranton alvoch, sank al coda magic. Torante, salhe, naven, all tongue.
There's gotta be something that's here. Let's keep listening.
Al orta e beginning, parasimtin you. You have thiesa e magic e sara, e the knowledge. Aritua ya e tue by generations e umani. Knowledge of all tongue.
Oh, as we continue to listen, she's starting to decipher more and more of the language. So if we listen again, maybe we'll be able to understand the whole thing.
Now you have allowed the magic to enter your heart, and the knowledge of all tongue, ever present but dormant, to guide your ears and your tongue.
There we go.
I understand you. You speak English? Why didn't you just tell me straight away?
He doesn't.
No, child. I do not speak English. I speak Naven, Altung, the common language of Arcadia.
Arcadia? Wait a second. How did I get here? What is this place, and who the hell are you?
All valid questions.
Oh, my manners have abandoned me yet again. I'm afraid my preoccupation with ancient texts and the company of my fellow fathers have left me unequipped with the grace of social intercourse.
Apparently.
Meaning what?
That I have been rude. My name, dear child, is Tobias Grensret, and I am the Vestrum of the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. We are the fathers.
It's still all Greek to me, man.
Okay. I'm April. April Ryan.
I take it this is your first shift, your first passage through the divide?
So this is common?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I guess this is my first shift.
Then I will explain everything.
Yes, please.
Someone must.
Indeed.
You are without guidance, without a mentor?
Yes.
Mentor? There's this guy Cortez. He assisted me, told me about magic and truth and dreams and portals. Crazy stuff. Well, it seemed crazy at the time, although now I don't.
Cortez? Ah, yes, Cortez. Very good, very good. Then come, let us proceed. Let me show you Marcuria, the grandest city of all ages.
So he's known Cortez. Cortez is a dude. Yes. This guy's tall, man. Or maybe April short? I don't know. She seemed average height to me. But I guess I don't really have much to compare except for everyone else. But this dude is just tall. Whoa. That's a different world if ever there was one. Guys, she got isekai'd. Yeah, this definitely does not look like a back alley somewhere.
Explore Marcuria, April. See the sights, meet the people, and then, when you are ready, return to the temple. I will answer whatever questions you may have then.
Okay, so I guess we are now free to roam about. But again, the person we have to look for was Brian. Let's check the diary here. Nope. Nope. Wait. Have we read this one? Yes. Right? Yeah, we read this one. And then this one's new here. In Arcadia, is it still Saturday? Do they even have Saturdays here? And why am I not screaming and frothing and tearing my hair out when I obviously should be? When confronted with the impossible, isn't your mind supposed to just snap? Perhaps because I've had so many vivid dreams about... Okay, now I don't even know if dreams is the right word anymore. Visions, perhaps? Or even better, premonitions? That's in keeping with the theme of this place. Magic. Oh yeah, magic. Apparently, I'm simply supposed to accept, without question, that magic does exist, which is impossible. But clearly not impossible enough, because here there is magic, wherever here is. I've written more on the next page. Still, in the face of all this strangeness, I feel normal. For some weird, inexplicable reason, and even though I've still to wrap my head around the concept, I accept this place. It feels comfortingly familiar in a distant, hazy way. And even though I want to go home, like right now, I'm not panicky. Not at all. Just a little bit. Oh, and I should write that name down before I forget it. Brian Westhouse. I was right. Initially, Westhouse, not Westinghouse. Westhouse. That's the last thing Cortez told me, to visit Brian Westhouse whenever I wanted to go home. But that other guy, he didn't say his name was Brian Westhouse. He said something else. I can't remember what it was, but it definitely wasn't Brian Westhouse. Let's return to the game. So, what have we got here? Certainly, it seems to be something out of, I don't know, a fairy tale or something. Maybe not fairy tale. Fairy tale's not the right word. Story, fable, adventure. I mean, it is a venture game, right?
Oh, nice fountain. Nice fountain. Nice fountain.
I skipped over that, what she was initially going to say. I double-clicked, trying to get her to move over.
What the hell kind of animal is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody is riding it, though, so there's that.
Nice fountain.
Alright. Let's head over to the stalls. There's a dancer here. Ooh, cups handler. Head. Bird. Alright, let's, I think, where is April? Oh, there she is. Okay, let's...
In a world without the screen, that's what passes for entertainment. And it's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Dancing, singing, feats, physical feats, those were entertainment back in the day. Now, we've got the silver screen, the black screen, the black mirror, if you will.
What a sorry-looking bird.
I don't know.
Hey, you don't look too polished yourself, lady.
Oops, I didn't know you could talk.
Didn't look as if you could talk either.
Damn, that bird is savage.
That's a particularly sleazy-looking merchant. I wonder what he's selling.
I wonder if they can hear.
Want to test your skill and perception with a game of cups? There are prizes to be won.
But I have no money to wager.
Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Time is money, so make it quick.
What do you know about Vestron Tobias?
That was his name.
Vestron Tobias, eh?
Yes.
The High Priest of the Sentinel himself. Did you know they call themselves the Fathers? What a joke.
What a joke.
When was the last time they did anything for us, the people? No. They are only interested in sticking with their outdated customs and keeping their secrets under lock. I'm getting more and more inclined to listen to these new people, the Vanguard. Their ideas appeal to me. They may be radical, but we're past due for a change. Only thing I don't wholly approve of is their alliance with the Tyrant. Filthy, dangerous people. But the Vanguard seem to have them under control, so I'm not too worried. I wish they wouldn't allow them into the city, though.
So, I wonder what this is, because we went through a portal, but perhaps this isn't another world, maybe it's just another dimension, because Tobias had called it a shift, as if to shift from one place to another, and maybe it relates to the dream world, because Cortez had been talking about dreams and truth, and meanwhile April has had multiple nightmares about like similar exotic places from where she's from. So I wonder if there's what the insinuation is that there's these two dimensions or two planes of existence that are now coming under threat, that one may invade or take over the other. And I wonder if that also plays into what these priests are fighting or not fighting against this vanguard. But the people seem, or at least this guy in particular, seems to be going with the vanguard because they're new, the upstarts, the up and coming, whereas the priests, they're kind of old and yeah, they just, I guess they don't relate to him in any way.
How do you get along with your neighbor?
The maps merchant? We've faced each other for 6 years now, every single day, and he never speaks a word to me except to insult me. Nose high in the sky, calls me a charlatan, as if he's the guardian himself. You no good oversized bag of wind?
So I wonder if there is like a tinge of racism here. This guy, I don't know if he is an example that is indicative of his race or of his people, but he clearly looks different than the maps merchant across from him, and they've got some beef going. But is that personal, or is that because of cultural bias, or is that because of racism? I don't know.
Do you know anything about Stark?
Not much. I'm not too sure if I even believe in the place. I mean, you hear the stories and you read the books. Well, I don't, but some do. A place where there's no magic, only science?
Yes.
Sounds like a bloody paradise, doesn't it? I mean, with my, skills, I could make a killing in a place like that.
So, this place is called Arcadia, and it sounds like Stark is the world in which April comes from. And so that is so it's Arcadia versus Stark. And places like this, Arcadia, where magic exists, is foreign to us, and we think, oh, places like this can't exist, but then in Arcadia, our place, or our plane of existence, our world, where there's no magic and only science, is just hogwash to them. Like, it's a story. It doesn't exist just in the same way. It's just, I guess, some people are set in their ways and set in their minds and opinions, regardless of the opposing opinion. Like, we all have things that we stick to. That's a nice touch. I don't know if that was intended, but that's a nice touch. And I was just thinking, this guy kind of looks like the in the Wizard of Oz, if in the movie it was a male, he would have been the Wicked Witch of the West, because he's got like the greenish skin and all of that. And this guy, I don't know, maybe it's just the lighting, because it looks like the sun's coming diagonally this way, and maybe he's just in shade.
What's Arcadia like?
What a queer question that is. What's the world like? It's big, for one, and too expensive. And they should ban Dalmari women from gambling, because I swear, they have a second sight.
Thanks.
Now, how about a game of cups?
How about on credit? You can give me money, and we can play.
What can I win?
Well, there's coin, of course. Double your bet or choose from a wide variety of exotic prizes. Like this antique Domari canter from Guyenne. A superb replica of Mount Tyranny cast in pure solid iron. A magic walnut from the once glorious island kingdom of Anciel. And this, unique bird.
Unique.
Get me out of here! Keep your beak shut, you scraggly piece of... And he talks! Great for feasts and for the amusement of infants. He's our top prize, a real keeper.
Alright, so this being a game, I already know that one of the objectives we're going to need to do is find money or earn money, and then bet it here and get this bird. There's a reason why we can talk to it.
How do I play?
You put your coin down on the table. I put a cup on top of it and shuffle it around with the other two cups. And all you have to do is guess which one hides your coin. And remember, no magic used and none allowed. This amulet right here will light up if you use magic. Then you'll be banned. For life.
For life? Yeah, man. Yeah, we are broke, so we can't play this.
Sorry, but I'm broke.
May the balance bring coin to your pocket, young lady, so that you may return to me and invest it in a game of cups.
Waste. What do they call that? Freudian slip? Yes.
Wonder if that's supposed to be anybody in particular, or just any old head.
Probably any old head. He didn't really make mention of it being anybody in particular.
My intuition tells me
Maps!
He sells
that he
maps.
sells maps.
Really, April? I would never have guessed. Never in a million billion years.
Maps, I got maps. Can I interest you in a map, miss? Top
Yes.
notch. Hand-drawn in quality ink by skilled sunwriters. Ain't no better in all the Northlands.
Something tells me we're gonna need a map, too.
How much are your maps?
That depends, miss. I got a very nice one here of the border mountains for only 6. Aaron's fresh from the quill of a sunwriter. Maps, get your maps here.
Do you sell maps of the city?
Can't help you there, miss. The Guild of Tourism has monopoly on city maps. I can tell you're not from around here, or you'd know that.
Yeah, don't I
Tons
look
of
like a
maps
tourist?
of all the Northlands, though, from the city of Tyron to the Bay of Fire. Maps!
Do we not look like a tourist? I mean, we're dressed very differently from you.
Where can I find the Guild of Tourism?
They're closed for the holidays.
Oh,
Sure, that makes sense.
I didn't know it was a holiday. Nobody tells me these things.
Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes, maps!
Do you know Vestrum Tobias?
Everyone knows Vestrum Tobias, girl. He's been an important part of this city for as long as I can remember.
What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, but how long can you remember?
Vestrum is an honorable man, but a conservative one, and I don't know if he still has the best interests of the people at heart. Sometimes I think he worries too much about custom. The Sentinel have been our so-called protectors and keepers of the balance for so long we don't even think of it anymore. But now that the Vanguard are introducing a new way of thinking, new philosophies, I'm afraid the Sentinel will find their power diminished before too long. Their resistance to change will be their downfall. Mark my words, their downfall for certain. And Tobias, honorable man that he is, will be remembered as the captain who went down with his ship.
So that's interesting. So he talks about the balance. So maybe there is an issue between these, I don't know, worlds or dimensions or parallel universes, and there's a balance between all of them. And I guess the Sentinels that Tobias is part of, or is it the Guardians? I don't know. The other guy, the cups holder guy, he mentioned the Guardians, and this guy here is mentioning the Sentinels, but they seem to be the ones protecting this balance, but they are set in their ways and their customs, and they don't want to change or move, which actually sounds quite a lot like today's government. It's usually run by old people who are set in their ways and want the status quo to stay the same, but are unwilling to change with the times and trying to make sure that they take into everyone's best interests to heart, not just themselves, especially the young people. The young people have different ways of thinking, different values and morals, and even though they are increasingly becoming more and more important as they get older in age and become the new elderly people who are in power, they're not being taken into account. And that obviously is causing some frustrations and headaches. And eventually this balance is going to break. So maybe all of this is an allegory for, society as a whole. That'd be interesting.
How do you get along with your neighbors?
The cups handler? Stay away from him, miss. He takes great joy in robbing people's purses. You can't beat him, not without magic, and he doesn't allow magic at his table.
How would he know if I did use magic?
Oh, he's got one of those blasted talismans. They're always digging up magical artifacts in Shagagriel, and they sell them to dogs like him for a silver coin or two. Get a proper job, you son of a mole!
So, I guess the maps guy doesn't like him because he's kind of a crook. And the cups guy doesn't like the maps guy because he doesn't like him. So, but it's interesting because if you don't allow magic and he's got a talisman that prevents or detects magic, that also means that he can't use magic, which means that everything he's doing must have to be sleight of hand as opposed to magic, which means that he's beatable. It's just very difficult if you're playing along with the rules. But if you're not playing with the rules, then there is a chance for you to beat him at his own game.
What do you know about Stark?
Land of wonders, strange customs, and machinery. Ah, to be in Stark. I'd give my right leg. Well, perhaps not my right leg as such. You really need two sturdy legs to stand on in this business, or you'll find yourself...
Not standing?
Yes, a grand place indeed, free of this blasted, chaotic, unpredictable magic. Does no good to anyone. Now, machines built by man, controlled by man, in servitude of man. That's the future, isn't it? Yes,
Well,
the Vanguard may be a little unorthodox in their methods and teachings, but they're right about one thing. Stark and Arcadia belong together, not apart.
oh, okay. So this Vanguard, the new people, they want Stark and Arcadia to be one. Now, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Like, we have the science and technology, and they have magic. And how many of you have ever wanted to, like, wield magic or something? Like, actual magic. That'd be cool. But maybe that's also, like, a power fantasy. But also, in a world where there's magic, if you can't wield magic, that would be pretty terrifying, right? Because you never know who'd be able to use it. While at the same time, it's like they could bust out, like, a fireball. Poof! You know? Boom, you've got fireball. But I guess it's the same here. I mean, we have tools and weapons like guns, and anybody could pull one out and just like poof, you know, boom, you're done, just like a fireball. So, I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of interesting. I don't know how many of you have watched Thor from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He makes mention of his world having both science and magic working in tandem, and like I think you find some really incredible things if you could use magic and science, because everything has a downside, but if you could take two things together and take both of their positives and bring them together, you could mitigate a lot of negatives, right? Be an interesting idea if we could like ever have a world where this would be the case. But I wonder why these two needed to be separated to begin with, Stark and Arcadia. Was there a big problem? Was there a major catastrophe that happened that required them to be apart? Because if it's been apart for so long, like the maps merchant was saying, it's been so long that they don't even think about it. There being a balance, about there being a peace between these worlds, that they've just forgotten. And if it was then that long, people that are new and don't have the full history and full knowledge of things, because maybe they haven't studied the history, or maybe the history itself has been hidden, erased, or purposely twisted, and now they have this idea, let's merge them. That's a great idea. But then unbeknownst to them, they're actually creating the disaster that people have tried to prevent or undo and then prevent in the past. I guess much like real history, where history is doomed to repeat itself without people having the knowledge and understanding of why things have come into place to begin with.
What's Arcadia like?
What can I say about a whole world, girl? It's a beautiful place for sure, but we're stuck in the past. We don't look ahead, not like our cousins in Stark. Magic is all well and good, but it won't bring our world into the modern age, and Arcadia is untamed. It's wild and unpredictable. Good for the map business, sure, but not so good for productivity and expansion. Oh, some people may consider our world a paradise. The Sentinel, for one, they'd prefer to keep it just the way it is. Me, I'd like to see some changes, and fast.
Thanks for your help.
Maps!
Huh. That's pretty cool. You take into account that, again, the people that are older and been around the block for a while, they like to keep things the way they are. They have a certain perspective of this is why we have to keep things the way they are and we shouldn't change. But new people, the young blood, they have their own ideas. And sometimes it is good to question the authority that's in place because, yeah, if they're still continuing on with what they're doing and they're stagnating, perhaps there's a better way to do things. But really, they really need to find a way to work together because there are reasons for why things are the way they are. And making changes for the sake of change, which seems to be how the maps maker feels, is she just wants to change, that's not good because you may end up just undoing or creating the same problems that had occurred in the past. However, if you work with the established and the older, maybe they could give you insight and knowledge and experience that would tell you, no, we can't do that because of this, which would get, a younger mind continuing to think, work through those wheels of thought, and come up with either another solution or maybe a modification to their original idea that may actually be even better because it helps to avoid some of the problems and the issues that have occurred in the past. Alright, well, we're not going to buy any more maps because we have no money.
No maps for me today, thanks.
Fair enough, miss, but don't expect me to come running to your aid if you ever get lost in Riverwood. Without my maps, you'll probably end up a mole's dinner or worse. Maps?
Like, they're kind of pushing their businesses hard, but I can totally understand that. I mean, it's their business. It's how they make money, how they survive. So, you can't begrudge somebody for that, right?
Supposed to be anybody in particular, or just any old head.
Everybody's got to eat. Alright, so let's see. Let's head to the city, maybe? Yeah. I don't think there's much else here. Maybe we'll find Brian in the city. So, maybe this is a city center. The spire here seems like it might be... Yeah, I think maybe it is the city center. Marketplace. And then this is the city? City gates. Okay. I guess that's all we've unlocked so far, but look in this distance. I feel like, yeah, when April was dreaming, maybe she was like way out here because it looked really barren and mountainous in terrain. So maybe there is some kind of link, or like maybe there are two worlds, right? And they are linked to a degree, which is why there has to be a balance that's enforced by different parties, which would be why another party, the Vanguard, wants to go against the other, the Vanguard or Sentinel or whatever, in order to undo this balance, to bring the two worlds together. And for April, I wonder if the dream world is like the closest spot where the two worlds meet, or I don't know the story of what's going on here. So if I hit this on the nail in the head, it's just a matter of me playing a lot of games and watching a lot of movies and TV. But what if, and I think this is probably a more likely option, but what if April is actually an Arcadian with magical powers? right? Okay. So she's a person with magical powers from Arcadia, where there are powers, but for some reason or other, she came to Stark, or was brought to Stark, which could explain why maybe she has family issues at home because they know she's not like of their blood. Maybe she was adopted or taken in, or maybe there was an agreement from her family to take her in and raise her. And what if like like her blood is comes from some prestigious family or some prestigious clan that has some special magical powers to uh, bring about peace and balance between our worlds, right? And from there, like that's why that dragon came by to her and said, "You are the mother of the future," because she has the power and she's probably within a prophecy of some sort to bring about balance or bring about a change. Like, think of like Anakin Skywalker, right? So he was supposed to be the chosen one. He was supposed to bring balance to the Force. And and in in Star Wars canon, the Jedi believe that meant like raising the Jedi, which was to bring balance to the Force. But when you look out at it from an outward perspective, balance to the Force really does mean like destroying the Jedi, because unless you build the Sith, then the Jedi are actually overbalanced. So they're in an OP position because there's so many of them, right? So the balance is nil. There is none. And the Jedi in general, they have that rule of two. So they can never have more than two. So bringing down the Jedi really brought balance to the Force because there was only like a few. Yeah, there were some survivors in canon, but they generally don't last very long. But for the most part, the biggest Force users, as far as was revealed in the movie canon, were Obi-Wan and Yoda, and then there were the two Sith users. You know, there was the Emperor and Anakin as Darth Vader. So I wonder if the game is going to bring something similar, where April, she's supposed to be the mother of the future. Maybe the prophecy is to bring about a future where she brings about peace and balance, but maybe she goes against the actual tradition or the actual um, ideology that was in place and actually combines them right into one world. Wouldn't that be something? That would be a balance, right? Because there are many like myself that think, whoa, magic could be cool. And these people here, they're thinking, well, we've got magic. That's no bother, whatever. Like, but machines, technology, advancement, that's the thing. Because you can, despite how often technology fails us, I mean, it is fairly reliable, especially when you take over the thought that, hey, machines, they run at our beck and call at the moment, before the machine apocalypse. But magic is wielded by people, but then you have to bend at the will of people as well. So these people with magic and power, you have to rely on them and you have to go along with what they are in the mood for. Whereas with technology, it doesn't really have emotions yet. And so you don't have to trust in it so much as like just trust that it will perform its duty.
The walls look ancient. Arcadia must be at least as old as anything back in the real... in my world.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you can travel to two worlds, that doesn't mean that one world is real It's just one is the one in which you are accustomed. Because in this world, this world, Arcadia is just as real as Stark. But it's just a matter of where you come from. Because if any of these people came to Stark, they would have similar impressions.
This guy's selling musical instruments. Most of these I don't even recognize. But he's got a drum in there and what looks like half a guitar and a couple of dried rabbit carcasses. Ugh.
Yeah, that's what? Yeah, that's an interesting one. Instrument merchant. Let's talk.
He's selling musical instruments.
Yeah, let's talk to him. Yes. We'll
I'm
talk
not
to
in
you.
the market for an instrument at this particular moment. Still, good to know where to get one in case of a musical emergency.
You're not going to whistle there? Well, obviously this is a placeholder for a puzzle that will be coming up, so we'll have to remember this. Guys, remember this for me, please? You know me. Your boy's got terrible memory.
Those guys must be part of the City Watch. They look a hell of a lot more intimidating than the Newport cops, despite the lack of an exoskeleton.
Hey, intimidation is all in the behavior and confidence.
Those guys must be part of the City Watch. This lady's selling fresh fish. I've never seen fish like this before. But if it's wet and has fins, fish it is.
That's fair. I think that's fair. If it's wet and it's got gills and it's got fins, it's most likely a fish. Just like if it talks like a duck, walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Merchant.
This guy's selling lobsters, crabs, eels, and... What the hell is that purple thing? That is so not appetizing.
Well, you don't know if it's actually something that they eat to begin with, but if it is, perhaps don't knock it till you try it, maybe? Whoa. That looks like a complicated pure of sorts. Galleons?
The size of these galleons is truly breathtaking.
Oh.
And there are dozens of them, not to mention a number of smaller vessels. Arcadia must be a very important and very busy port.
Yeah, so it would seem. So these large ships are called galleons. And that one's just a ship. Oh, we can go to that ship.
It's a lighthouse, much like the ones we have at home, except this one, of course, burns a blue fire.
Yeah, in our world, blue fire is a fire that burns pure and is not. It's burning all of the fuel as opposed to leaving any behind. You get the red and orange fire from impurities, I believe. It's been a long time since I took a chemistry class where I remember that from. But also that was a chemistry class that I did not do very well in, so there could be some of that. But if you're a chemist, and you know, for a fact, you let me know. But, this is not a free, you get to tell me whatever. Cite your sources. Credible ones.
Blue fire. It's either propane or magic. I'm guessing the latter.
I'm guessing the latter, too, because they've been talking about magic here and there. And if you could use magic, and that's all you've got, you don't have, actual technology, I mean, why not? That is your bread and butter, so to speak. That's what you have. We burn fossil fuels because that's the technology that we have. We're starting to move into batteries because that's the technology we have. Neither was going to give us flying cars, but that's what we have.
Assorted cargo.
And who are you? Sailor.
Judging by his ungainly stance, I'd say he's a mariner pining for the sea.
Ungainly? I wonder what that's supposed to mean.
Ahoy there, matey!
Pardon?
That's mean.
Isn't that how you sailors greet each other?
In our world, maybe.
No.
What do you say then?
Usually, hello. And if it's sunny, nice day for it. We might even try a how are you today then, if we're feeling adventurous.
So
but
normal
never,
people.
ever, ahoy.
This is valuable information.
Indeed.
Aye, matey, that it be.
Well, they're probably on shore leave.
Why aren't you out at sea?
Do you see the sail on that barge over there?
Yes?
Is it flapping?
What?
Is it flapping? Is the sail flapping in the wind?
All right, I got it.
No.
So no wind, no go.
Why is that then?
Because it's not windy?
Exactly.
Well, can't you just use oars or something?
Oh, what an excellent idea. Now, why didn't we think of that? Of course. Oars! By Jaw's stunted left arm, that's it. Why have we been moored to the dock for a month with our merchandise dropping in value when we could have just rowed our way to Guienne?
Are you being sarcastic?
Sarcastic?
Come on,
Me?
April.
What in Jaw's name makes you think that?
All right, so there's a lesson to be learned here, guys. If you thought that was kind of a jerk move, and you thought that he could have been much nicer and he was pretty rude to April there, take that in and let that soak in for a minute. I've worked many a service job, many a customer service related job, one in which there is a separation, a disparity in power between the client looking to use or make use of said services and drop some money. And there's a lot of people out there that, as the customer, act like this guy, and that causes the service staff member to start acting like that as a defensive mechanism. So, I mean, if you encounter a lot of these type of people, maybe, I'm not saying it's 100% likely, but I'm saying maybe if everyone treats you like this, maybe the fault lies with you. Because most people are regulars at the places that they go to. And, us service member staff people, we talk. That guy wearing the red shirt today, yeah, what a jerk. That lady in the, I don't know, yellow ponytail, yeah, she was a jerk. Guys, try to be nice to people, alright? Don't be like this guy. Don't take him as an example. He's basically Kyle.
How long's it been since the last wind?
Near a month. Ever since that accursed alchemist put some kind of spell on the wind.
Oh,
The
magic
Moja'll
problem.
be cursed if I know why. But it's a bloody catastrophe. I've sent some good people of mine up north to deal with him. But not one has returned. Now the Areed High Council speak of sending an entire army platoon to sort him out. But I'm afraid that just might piss him off.
Everyone's talking about going north. Like the maps guy talked about getting lost up north without a map. This guy's talking about an alchemist up north who did something with the wind. And I might be wrong, but I think in one of the earlier parts of the video in Venice, I think there was something was made mention about the wind or something. I don't know. It feels like, I mean, it was a while ago, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like there may have been a foreshadow or a reference to this in Venice.
Who's this alchemist who cast a spell on the wind?
I believe his name is Clax. Roper Clax. Lives in a bloody rock somewhere up north, beyond Riverwood.
Thanks for the chat.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm sure we needed that
It's a
information.
small ship or boat. I don't know the difference. Is there a difference?
Great question. I don't know. I personally use them interchangeably, but I know that that's not the way it's supposed to work. Oh, I can go straight to the city from here. Small pure. I still haven't found Brian Westhouse, guys. Where is Brian, though? Are you Brian?
The old man and the, ocean? Looks like a lifetime at sea has left its tracks on him.
I think that was
You might want to consider waiting until you be out of earshot before you badmouth me.
That was, well, for one, that was another person who heard her talking. April, if you're going to be talking to yourself and saying, like he said, saying bad things about people, maybe don't say them in front of people. Maybe just say it with the little voice in your head, huh? And also the old man in the ocean, I think that was a reference to the old man in the sea. I think that was a Ernest Hemingway book. This gotta be Brian, right? Because he's the last guy here that we haven't talked
Hello,
to.
old man.
I got me no treasure, and I got me no map of no buried treasure. I just be an old sailor with no ship, so leave us be.
That's it? Oh, okay. Ah, he's smoking. Okay.
What are you doing?
Mending nets, of course. What'd it look like I be doing?
Smoking.
Not well versed in maritime customs.
Mar what? Ah, yous mean sea life, dear nut. Ah, the smell of the salty sea, the lapping of waves on your ship, the spray of cold water on your face, plump maidens in every part. I tell yous, I be having stories about the sea.
Yeah, about those plump maidens at every port. Now, where are they plump, my man? Where are they plump? Are they plump in the midsection, or are they plump in the derriere? Is that what you're looking for?
Care to share some of your maritime stories with me?
Mar what? Ah, tales of the sea, right? Sure, sweetie, I be happy to. Now, what stories be you wanted to hear, then?
Oh, do we get to choose? Ah,
Any tale of your exciting adventures will do.
I be having plenty of tales to tell. There be the tale of me adventures in the Baksheevan Empire, if you'd be interested. It'd be a tale of grand romance, just up your alley, be sure of it.
sure. I was just thinking, so far, everything that we've been playing of April, right? This is a story of the older woman telling the children the story about the balance. Do you remember that? Way, way at the beginning. Like the first thing that happened. And yet, we're having another story. It's a meta. A story within a story, guys.
Sure, that sounds like a fine story.
Aye. It be near on 50 years ago that I was a mate on a sturdy old lady called the Three-Legged Whore.
The what?
What?
What do I be saying? She was called the Thrifty Horse, she was. Aye, that be her name. The Whittle Whatsit.
You don't remember the ship's name, do you?
No. Not one iota.
Anyways, I be a young mate then, and we be anchored in Monterba, the grand western port of the once glorious Baksheevan Empire. I be having ship leave until the following evening, and it be me first visit to that exotic and dangerous port. So I sets out to have a look around. Now, bear in mind that Monterba be ruled by a mock,
What's that?
like all large Baksheevan cities. In principle, the mock be having to report to and pay half of all taxes to the emperor in Port Altaban. But with the Baksheevan Empire having all but crumbled into pieces,
The tax man.
the provinces do be having the power to do pretty much as they be wanting. And so I sets out on me own that day to explore the city. Now, bear in mind that all the cities of the Southlands, and that be me adventures in the once glorious empire of Bakshiva. And that be how I meet me bird, how I seduce and the romance the Mock's daughter.
April just knocked
How
out.
I be chased from Mount Herb by the Mock's soldiers, and how I be the first man to walk across the desert of Shangagriel, the wastelands, and how I be getting this awful rash on.
Another time jump?
Girl, you do not be sleeping, do you?
Yes, she totally is. I was just resting my eyes.
What? What? Sleeping? No. Just concentrating really hard.
Very hard.
Good story, though. Solid material. Ever considered doing a book?
Aye, but the agents in Marcuria be bloodthirsty vampires with no thought but to milk your life's blood.
Oh, so they take an outrageous commission then?
Yes.
No, they actually be bloodthirsty vampires with a penchant for biting your neck when you ain't be looking.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay. Well, I guess I understand what you're saying now. Well, yeah. Actually, what does he have in that chest?
What have you got in that chest?
What chest?
The one you're sitting on.
Indeed.
Oh, that be no chest, girl. That be me stool. Aye, me stool, carved into the uncanny likeness of a chest.
Okay.
But what's in it?
No priceless treasure, that be for sure. Nothing at all. It be empty.
I don't believe you. Not one bit.
No, really. What's in the chest?
Oh, live snakes. Aye, snakes that'll bite your face off before you have time to jump. Better leave them be then.
No, I want to see them. Let's see them.
I'm still curious about that chest.
Right. I be telling yous, curse the balance, girl. You never give up, do you?
Nope.
I be having no real treasure in here, like I told ye. But it be where I keep me personal articles and things I be picking up now and then on me travels. And me bed, it's where I be keeping me bed before I be losing him. I be a stupid old man. He be my best friend. I ain't nobody else around to talk to, you see, on account of him being a talking bird.
Wait. Talking bird? You're talking birds with the merchant, man. I think he's gone.
What happened to your talking bird?
I be cheated out of him. Aye, that cups handler on the marketplace be cheating me in a full game of cups.
Told
and I be
you.
having to give me bird up to try to win me money back.
Yep, I thought so.
And what happened?
You lost
He
them
be
for good.
taking me bird when I be choosing the wrong cup. Aye, my best friend taken from me. Cursed be the balance. It be all lonesome now.
That was
The
your
worst
fault, man.
part is that me bird is now a prize to be won. A prize in the cups game. Beat the handler thrice and you win a prize of your choice, me poor bird.
You gotta beat him 3 times.
What's your bird's name?
Bird.
Oh,
So, you gotta beat the cups handler 3 times to get the bird. And you gotta bring the bird back to this guy. But then what does he give
I
you in
better
return?
get going.
Maybe he does.
Yous young'uns all be always running round. Everything be so important. He's be having no time to sit down and take a breath. So go. Be not wasting your time here with me.
Yeah, so maybe he does have a map of actual treasure. Like, he says he doesn't, but maybe he does. And he's not willing to give it up unless you get him his bird back.
I wouldn't feel too comfortable about sailing anywhere in that. It's like a toy boat for children.
Okay, let's head back to the big boat. And I guess we'll head back to the city, too. Because there isn't much here. But how are we going to get the money to play the game in the first place? Should we talk to the bird and see if the bird has anything to say? I mean, it couldn't hurt, right? Let's see what's up. Because maybe the bird gives us a hint as to what we can do. I mean, unless Tobias is willing to give us some coins. I mean, he seems like the head of the guild or whatever. Maybe he would be able to. Not that he will, because, you know, this be a adventure puzzle game, my guy. That's not going to happen. That'd be too easy. Absolutely too easy. But, you know, sometimes it can't be too easy enough. Alright, so we went to the pier, the city gates. Let's go back to the marketplace. Where are you, April? Oh, there you are. Let's go back to the stalls here. Let's talk to that bird.
It's a talking bird.
Oh, we can't talk to it. Okay. So let's head back out. And there were two ways we could go to the city. Maybe this one takes us one way, and if we go this way, it takes us to a different section that we couldn't reach. Looks like she's heading up this way, so it's the same. It's the same regardless. Okay, so we need money for the game, but where do we get this money? Let's go into the temple and ask around. Maybe like we're supposed to find it like sitting somewhere. Oh, can we?
Nice fountain.
No, we can't do anything. We can't interact with the fountain. So I was thinking maybe we could just grab it from the fountain. Maybe, you know, it's one of those wishing wells that people throw coins into, but it looks like it's not. Let's talk to our boy Tobias here.
Quaint. And they go with the general decor of the place. Oil lamps, or whatever their magical equivalent may be called. Excuse me, Vestrum Tobias?
Borrow some money.
Tobias. Just call me Tobias, please. I require no ceremony from a distinguished guest such as yourself. Did you enjoy the sights?
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. Walking around out there, seeing with my own two eyes things that can't possibly exist. I kept thinking, it's all a dream. I'll wake up at any moment now and everything will return to normal. But then I realized, I'm still here. It's real. I can touch it. I can smell it. And you know what? It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense here. Magic, alien creatures, parallel worlds. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in fairy tales.
You don't need to, if
In
it
your
exists.
world, in Stark, there is no room for magic. That is, and always has been, the curse of science, the fallibility of logic and order. They leave no room for the imagination. If it does not fit into the narrow perception of the laws of nature that your world adheres to, it's a fairy tale.
Correct.
But then, magic has its downsides too. It's unpredictable. It invites chaos. It puts the balance in peril in a way that science alone never could.
Apparently.
I keep hearing about the balance and about Stark and Arcadia and... This is probably going to sound strange to you, but I'm clueless. I have no idea what this place is or what I'm doing here or... All I know is that something strange is happening in my world, I guess.
Indeed.
I had dreams, and the dreams felt so real, and then things started happening in real life too. Things that couldn't happen, and
I think I will begin at the very beginning. I believe that is why you were sent here, to learn, to understand, to see for yourself. Like you said, you cannot believe in this place. Well, you will. After you have learned the truth, you will. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of Earth as your books never have. And when your eyes and ears are open to the truth, perhaps your mind will follow. We can only hope. Come.
Actually, that'd be great. That'd be great. Here we go, back to the murals.
This is the true story of the balance, as observed by the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance, the Fathers. The Sentinel Minstrom committed this story to the pages of the scriptures and to these temple walls thousands of years ago, so that coming generations could learn and understand their past and their future. The wall paintings we are looking at became known as the murals of the balance, and it is through these images that I will recount our common history to you, April Ryan.
That'd be
The story
appreciated.
begins and ends here, with this mural. Ages ago and in ages to come, the earth was one, and magic and science existed side by side in nature and in all people.
Huh.
There was balance, and there was harmony.
Maybe April brings that back.
You're saying there was just one world then?
One world, one earth. Magic and science in balance with each other, within each and every living creature. The power to make the stars dance and to create life itself was within our grasp.
But
then, humankind began to exploit this divine power of two, and they saw fit to use it for their own selfish purposes.
of course.
The balance of the cosmos was in peril.
That's what humans do. We do it best. No one
Unless
destroys like
something
people.
was done, unless man was humbled and learned to fear the power he wrought over cosmos, the twilight of chaos would fall upon Earth. It had happened before, in distant times and on distant worlds, and it would happen again. And every man, woman, and child of every people and every race would be devoured by the coming apocalypse. We were given a visitation then. The Drag Kin, having lived among us for untold generations, rose to offer their guidance and assistance in preserving the balance on our world.
Dragkin, like dragon? Oh, I'm moving now. No, she's moving. Okay, yeah, that sounds like dragon, like
The
Drakkin.
Drag? I think I've heard that name before.
Drag Kin, Draken, Dragons,
Oh, that was
whichever
right.
name they go by.
There you go.
They remain the eternal servants and custodians of the balance. There were 4 of them here on Earth, and of the 4, one who would found the Order of the Balance, the Sentinel. The first Minstrom were instructed that magic and science would have to be separated before the balance collapsed and brought untold disaster. Earth would have to be split in 2 equal parts. Arcadia and Stark, magic and science, chaos and order. The first Sentinel were counted 13, 6 scientists, 6 magicians, and one who was between.
Our
The
April.
Drag Kin, our mentor, our custodian, our learned guide. Both magic and science were needed to perform this most difficult of tasks. To split a world in 2, to create 2 worlds from one.
Wasn't the use of that kind of power dangerous to the balance?
Yes, and so for this purpose, they built a tower to channel their powers and focus them on the divide that they would create. The kin had brought a disc with them, a disc forged in the fire of their world. Placed at the base of the tower and the epicenter of the divide, the disc and the tower would become one, a conduit for the flow of magic and science. At the appointed hour, the 13 came to the tower, and with them a woman whose destiny was decided by the purpose to which she had been born. She
Interesting.
would be the first guardian, the human protector of the balance, who would stay in the tower for 1,000 years to watch over the 2 worlds and to ensure that the flows of magic and science were always equal.
Damn, that sucks.
And so the ritual began.
I'd hate to be that person that have to live there for thousands of
One
years.
world was to become two, separated by the balance, and each world visible to the other only by way of dreams.
By dreams, I told you.
Who was ushered into which world was not an arbitrary choice, nor one taken lightly.
This was the being in the beginning.
For the magical creatures, the choice was simple. They had to go to Arcadia. Their kind would not survive in Stark. But for others, families were torn apart, lovers separated, and friends lost for all eternity.
Damn.
Encircled by the 12 and the one who would be guardian, the disk at the base of the tower began to spin faster and faster as more and more power flowed through it, until it was a blur.
That was in the opening cinematic.
Darkness enveloped the tower, but the disk glowed brighter and brighter. Reality turned, and in one moment, a new reality had been created and two new worlds born. In the tower there was silence. The original disk had disappeared, and in its place was a smaller counterpart, a similar yet different disk. Around and outside the tower, the world looked different. They were now between Stark and Arcadia, between reality and dream. This was the realm of the balance and of the guardian, and it would be her home for the next 1,000 years.
So after 1,000 years, someone
The
has
one
to
who
come
was
in?
kin picked up the disk and said, "This disk is a counterpart to the original disk, which has now become this realm, and the key to which has been split and divided in 4.
4?
The key is the disk, and the disk is this realm." This mystified the 12, and the one who was kin continued, "Know only this. The Guardian's realm cannot be broken unless the disk is broken. But nor can it be repaired without the disk being repaired. The 4 pieces, that is the key, will be given to the 6 of you who are to be taken to Arcadia for safekeeping. Yet the key will never be complete," he went on, "without the precious stones that adorn each piece. I will keep 1, and my fellow kin the 3 others. Should the day come when this realm must be repaired, or the worlds reunited, and that day will come, you will assemble the disk, and the kin will come together one last time."
Ah, there it is. There's
With
the plot.
that, 6 of the 13 went to Arcadia, and 6 to Stark, and the one who would be guardian ascended to the throne. Witness the mural, where her dreams and hopes, her very soul, were locked away in the disk. In service of the balance, these traits were nothing but barriers. Through new eyes, the imbalance between the worlds was as clear as the stars themselves to the Guardian, and with one thought, she channeled chaos from Arcadia and logic from Stark into the disk, and redistributed the power wherever it was needed. A new era had begun, the era of the Guardian.
Okay, now it's starting to come all
After they
together.
left the tower, 2 of the Drakkin went to Stark, the other 2 to Arcadia. The 6 who came to each world started what is now known as the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. But while in Arcadia the Sentinel thrived, in Stark they did not. In Stark, the memories of magic and the balance could not survive in the face of the new reality of natural laws, of logic, and of science. And soon, very soon, Arcadia became nothing more than legend, a myth, tales of fairies to recount to impressionable children, and stories to frighten and entertain around a fire.
That makes sense, yeah,
And
actually.
while dreams still brought sights and sounds of Arcadia to those asleep in Stark, they were discounted as mere dreams and nothing more.
Huh,
So that's
interesting.
it? We forgot about our past and about Arcadia? And that's the way things are?
Yes.
Then what's wrong with that? And why does magic from Arcadia seem to have begun leaking through to Stark?
That is another long story. But I can tell that you are tired of stories, and so I shall be brief. As I told you, while in Arcadia, the Sentinel grew in numbers and in strength, In Stark, while flourishing for a brief time, they were soon diminished and powerless. Some of the Stark Sentinel did not take kindly to this, and they berated the Arcadian Sentinel for their politics and teachings. The Stark Sentinel wanted people to work towards reunification, while their brothers did not. So the inevitable soon came to pass, and the Stark Sentinel parted ways with their Arcadian brothers and named themselves the Vanguard. And while at first their philosophy was not so different from ours, over the years it changed radically. The Vanguard wanted the divide torn down, the worlds reunited, and the return to what they called the Glorious Ages, when humankind could control the forces of cosmos. But first they needed their own servant in charge of the balance, their own guardian. Now, every 1,000 years, a new guardian took the place of the old one, because no one can be separated from their souls for any longer than 1,000 years.
The fact that it's done at
Every
all.
1,000 years, a new guardian was born. The balance provided the seed from which a new fruit grew. But now, it has been 200 years since the previous guardian, the 12th guardian, was to be replaced.
Oh, 200 years passed.
Every new child born to the balance has been taken away by the Vanguard to be studied in an attempt to control them. In every instance so far, they have failed. But the 12th guardian could wait no longer. Only a short time ago, the disk in the tower shattered, and the guardian left his throne. The balance is now untended, and we have yet to find a new guardian. Unless we do so, the Vanguard may get their chance.
Okay.
And they may be able to place their own puppet on the throne to rule the balance according to their principles. And this we cannot allow. It will mean the end of Stark and Arcadia, and the dawn of an era of chaos. Now do you see?
I do, actually,
I
yeah.
understand the history. I can even accept it. But I don't understand why I'm here and what Cortez wants with me.
Because you're gonna be the new
The
guardian.
balance is in peril, April. The Guardian has abandoned his tower. He has disappeared, and there is no one to take his place. He must be reinstated to protect the balance until a new Guardian may be found.
And what can I do? I'm nobody. I've just been having a lot of bad dreams.
You are a strong shifter. I have not seen your like in my lifetime.
A shifter?
But she didn't.
Someone capable of opening doors between worlds. A shift. A portal between the realms of Stark and Arcadia.
But didn't Cortez do that?
Are
Not
you
us?
kidding? I didn't do anything. Cortez was the one who opened the shift.
Yeah.
And he just waved his hands around in the air. I don't think I'd be capable of opening a portal even if I had a magic wand.
You're right?
Only a shifter's own power can allow her to travel. No one else can do this for her. Cortez only channeled your power to aid you. He would not be able to step through the shift himself.
Oh, that's why he didn't
Even
follow.
if that's true, I don't have any control over my talent.
Not yet. But in time you will. How else do you intend to travel back to your world?
Oh, so okay.
God, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Can't you help me?
That's why we need Brian.
I'm afraid not. Even if I could shift, I would not be able to channel through you like Cortez did.
So, I'm on my own?
If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But aside from that, yes. Yes, you are.
Damn, Cortez, just to up and abandon us.
Not cool.
Right?
No, it has been unseasonably warm. If you don't mind, I will return to my studies now. Thank you for listening to an old man and his long stories.
No, thank you. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
I agree.
That is good news. Come see me again if you have any more questions.
You know, that dad joke that he did reminds me of the dad joke in Back to the Future. So Marty McFly always says, "That's heavy," and then I think it's Doc Brown. He said something about, is there something in the future where there's a difference in gravity? Because it's heavy. Like constantly saying it's heavy. All right. So I think this is why we need to seek out Brian Westhouse, because he's probably going to be the guy that helps April either figure out her powers, or alternatively help her channel her powers, just like Cortez did and help her get her home, which is why Cortez was saying to see him if she wanted to get home. All right. Here's a new entry. I've just been told The Story of the Balance by Vestrum Tobias, and I figured I should try to write this down while I still remember bits and pieces of it. Talk about cryptic history. Tobias lost me somewhere around the 12 and the 1. Like, excuse me? What? But I think I got the gist of it. There are two worlds. One is Stark, the world of science, what we call Earth, and then there's Arcadia, the world of magic, what people here call Earth. The two Earths, then, which gets a little confusing, but not half as confusing as what came after. A long time ago, there was just one Earth, and this Earth had both magic and science. But mankind has always had a habit of screwing things up, and this is what they did on the original Earth. They got too powerful, learned how to move stars and be gods by combining the powers of magic and science. So an alien race called the Drakkin decided to interfere to prevent mankind from destroying their own world. One of the so-called kin founded this religious movement called the Sentinel, or the Fathers, who are self-appointed watchers over the balance between magic and science. The Sentinel were instrumental in dividing the Earth into two dimensions, Stark and Arcadia, science and magic. They also put a woman in charge of controlling and channeling the balance between the two worlds, a guardian of the balance who lives in a tower in a sort of in-between realm and who's replaced every 1,000 years by a new guardian. So then life goes on for like thousands of years until the Sentinel starts squabbling internally. And the Sentinel priests and Stark decided to break with their Arcadian friends and found this new cult, or whatever, called the Vanguard. The Vanguard want the world reunited, and they plan to do this by controlling the Guardian himself, or herself. This is what they've been doing for a few hundred years now, destroying potential Guardians by performing experiments on them or something. My hand is starting to cramp up. I'm amazed I even remember half of this. Anyways, the current Guardian couldn't stay any longer, and he left this tower in the middle of nowhere, and now the balance is in danger. Apparently, Chaos can really do some serious damage to both Stark and Arcadia. What does remind me of my, which does remind me of my, a dream. It's not sure that's the right word anymore, with the black chaos thingy, that vortex that attacked me. That's probably a sign of what's going to happen if somebody doesn't do something to save the balance. And I'm sensing this is coming on because that's how it always goes in these things, that somebody is me. Because apparently I'm a strong shifter. Somebody has to find the Guardian, get him back in the tower to save the balance, and then do something about the Vanguard. Get them to see that they're screwing with things they shouldn't be screwing with. Hey, easy. I do that kind of stuff before breakfast. That's a lot of big talk coming from April, but I mean, she's kind of like, hey, yeah, sure, kind of got that thing going on. But like, I wonder, because the story that that Tobias had said, he said that the original, uh, the original guy, the one, he said that the world will need to be reunited. He said for sure that it would need to be reunited at some point. Maybe that's what this is that we have to reunite. So instead of actually protecting the balance, maybe we are going to break it. Or maybe we somehow toward the end make a choice. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the game is intending for this to go, but I feel like that might be the case. So at this point, we've got to, I feel like we've got to find Brian.
I feel like someone's staring at me.
Huh. Is there something we can... Are one of these guys... No? It's interesting because this one mural here still isn't, like... It's not finished. Like, what's up, man? Alright, Tobias, where can we find
Excuse me.
Brian? I need to find a Brian Westhouse.
Do you know a man named Brian Westhouse?
Westhouse? That old goat? Yes, unfortunately. What would you with him?
I need to find him.
I do not know where he lives. I hear somewhere on the outskirts of the city by the sea, but I cannot tell you any more than that.
It is the old sailor guy. It is. Okay, yeah, that guy that lost his bird, that's Brian Westhouse, guys. I kind of assumed it was, because he was way out there.
Who'd know about Westhouse?
His whereabouts? I do not understand what you would with him. He is rude, uncultured, and ignorant.
That's fine.
Cortez told me to look him up.
Yes.
Well, I do not know where he lives or frequents, but someone at the market may. He trades merchandise there, and I think he collects maps of the Northlands.
Maybe we should have talked to him first.
What do you know about Cortez?
Your mentor? What has he told you about himself?
Nothing.
Not much. Nothing, in fact. He's a complete mystery to
I
me.
wouldn't call him a mentor.
To learn something about someone, the best way to go about it is to ask them yourself. There is nothing I can do to enlighten you.
But who is he?
He is who he is, what he is. If he has not told you himself, then perhaps he does not wish you to know. It would be improper for me to divulge his secrets.
You're as bad as he is. No offense. It's just frustrating.
I
understand. The next time you see him, tell him what you have told me. Maybe he will tell you the truth, maybe he will not. It is his choice to make.
You know, it would have just been simpler if you just said, I don't know. And I would have just stopped there. Instead, you just went roundabout, say, well, I mean, if you wanted to know about him, you should have just asked him. It's like, shut up, guy.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about Arcadia?
I will try my best to answer any question you may have, April.
What's the history of Arcadia?
There is so much I do not know where to begin. In truth, it would be wiser to ask someone else, unless you wish to know about the Fathers, the Balance, or Mudhoppers.
Mudhoppers? What?
Mudhoppers?
My secret passion. I study them. They are a most fascinating species. Most fascinating indeed.
Okay.
But I am not practically versed in the intricacies of history, I'm sorry to say.
Really? Well, you gave like a huge history lesson about... Well, I guess he said as long as it's something about the brothers, or the fathers, rather, then he could tell.
What's Mercuria like?
I have lived in this city all my life, and still it amazes me what a diverse, exciting, and wonderful place it is. Many have called Mercuria the jewel of the Northlands, and they are right. But it is a diamond in the rough. A city this size can never be flawless. There are always shadows, and people who hide in them. Lately, the shadows have grown and darkened, and I fear for the future. But Mercuria is still a wonderful place to live.
Well, I mean, if you've been living in a place, you can start to appreciate the things that it provides, or appreciate the... I don't know, the wonder, the splendor that's around you, but you can also kind of see the dirty parts of it too. Like, to someone who's never been to New York, maybe it's like a beaming, shining example of what a glorious city will be. But if you've been to New York City, I mean, there are nice parts of it, and then there's some really bad parts of it, and it's not necessarily as clean or as beautiful and nice as you may think it is, or may have seen from pictures or from the movies. Just like you get an ideal picture of it. But living there, I guess you can kind of appreciate things that are there. Well, assuming you actually take advantage of the fact that they're there and that you're there.
What are the Northlands?
The Northlands is a collective term for all the lands north of the Great Sea and south of the border mountains, including Ireed, Tyran, and Khorasan. Before, however, the word Northlands was used to describe this entire continent, including the territories north of the mountains and the icy wastes beyond that. Some still prefer the latter interpretation of the name. And to the people of the Southlands, anyone hailing from north of the Great Sea is a Northlander regardless.
I can kind of relate to that. In the U.S., I am in the area that is called the Northeast, and we call it the Northeast because it is in the eastern United States, and it's the northern half of the United States. So Northeast, easy to understand, right? But I've been to Canada, I've visited Canada, and to them, I'm still just south. I'm the southern neighbor, so I get that. It's all relative. So from people from the south, everything above them is the Northlands. But if you live in the north, then north of you is the Northlands.
Tell me a little about Ireed.
Ireed means both unification and assembly in High Tongue, and many still call Ireed the unified country, even though it is an age and a half since the lands of the north joined together in alliance. Ireed stretches from the plains of Nedra in the north to the Great Sea in the south, and from the territories of Tyran in the west to the thick woodlands in the east. It is populated by humans and Dolmare,
What are those?
Tyran, and a number of other races. It is even said that a tribe of Venar have a ring of trees in Riverwood, though I am not sure that is anything but a myth.
Damn, they've got so much, stuff and lore in here.
Thanks for the information.
I'm glad I could assist you.
Alright, well, he doesn't know how we're going to get back to Stark, so we're just
I'll
going to
see
leave.
you later.
You will? If you say so, then it must be true.
This guy, man. This guy. Whoa. Right? He's a workaholic. He just, whoop, flipped right back. But this guy, he's something. I'm going to tell you, he's something. Anyways, I think I'm going to stop here. It's been a long session. I do all of this. It's currently in the summer right now. And, man, I do not do well in the heat. And, the air conditioner helps a lot. But after a while, the humidity gets to me. Because, I don't know, at night, the air conditioner still runs. But, the humidity doesn't get taken down as much as it does during the day. I don't know. But it just it starts eating at me, and I'm sorry, but I have to stop here. Hopefully I can find another time, some more time to dedicate for continuing this, because it's just we just got a huge lore dump. Maybe the next video won't be so long if we don't get either a huge lore dump or get stuck on a bunch of puzzles. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed learning more about both Stark and Arcadia. And I hope that you guys are interested to learn more about what's in store for April's future. And if you are, I hope to see you in the next one. I hope to see you there, everyone. And until then, bye.